it. And live chat. I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes, a few minutes, and then I'll start. If nobody come on, I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. I'm gonna be here alone because I got homework, I haven't eaten, and I'm cleaning the refrigerator, and so I'm a little tired. And then tomorrow, I gotta get up early because I'm in training for a new position, and I'll be in training for 3 weeks. And I'm not a morning person, so I got homework tonight. Um, I'm not a pork rib person, but they were rather cheap. I like beef ribs, but a lot of times your beef ribs don't have a lot of meat on them because the good beef ribs obviously are coming from the prime rib. So they keep that meat with the prime rib. Fallen Angel. Hey, Fallen Angel, who are you? Because you got a blue wrench. So did you change your name? Help me out. And because I'm not familiar with that name. And the picture's too little on the phone. Oh, Wendy. Okay, you came. Oh, okay, new name. All right, got you. I'm good. How you doing? And how's Salad Mix Talker? Did he go get some help? You know, I'm teasing him. Did he go get some help? Let me take these off because they're dirty. Let me know if he got any help. Anybody come in, like, subscribe, share it out. I might be dirty because I'm and been cleaning the refrigerator and I've started working on some stuff in the kitchen and taking some trash out. I hate cleaning the refrigerator. I had some stuff in the back that was disgusting. It was growing a new science project. I just was like, oh. So I'm not done. I got to go in there. I'm going in the scrub mode right now. I was in remove mode. Rent. What do you mean rent? Rent and what was the first word you were meaning? I don't think you meant rent. You, I'm dry. I ain't got no lotion over here. Oh well. What do you mean by rent? Typo. Yeah. Who said they said it's normal? Who said it's normal? Who said it's? Did a doctor say it's normal? Let me know if a doctor said it's normal. I know that now that I'm aging, I might say, like I've been saying, I'll go back sometimes see a video and I meant one word and say another one, or I'm talking about something, and it's just I think if that's what you're talking about, I think it's age related because I'm noticing it on occasions. Not all the time when I'm talking, and I'll have some, and then I'll go, well, hold on, I was meaning to say this. So I'll be thinking one thing, and a whole other thing comes out, and it's usually just a word. It's not like everything is really weird. It's just that I notice, like I might say, trying to think of one. I might use cross and say Christian. Okay. Um, let's see what else. I'm trying to think of one. What I did. I'm trying to think of a recent one, but I can't think of one. Oh, one of the ones I do, for example, me and Joe were talking about Cracker Barrel, and I said Marie Callender's. So sometimes I think it's because Marie Callender's and Cracker Barrel are very similar to me. Well, they're not around here anymore. But the style and the food and the atmosphere to me was very similar. Not so much similar in aesthetics, but similar in just the atmosphere, the environment, and the type of client base they draw. So that's how. Okay. Yeah, he may need to get more stuff checked. Like I have trimmers over here. I have a little bit of a trimmer here. My lower back is all jacked up. Right now I've got a what do you call them things? These things are God's gift to it because they help. I still have issues, but man, these things right here. Oh, hold on, are they upside down? No, lidocaine patches. Cha. Because my back be and don't get me wrong, I'm still having back issues, but nothing. When I put that on, it was like Jesus take the wheel, because it changed my life. I was like, thank you, Lord. My back was so jacked up, Wendy, and then my knee is still jacked up. I need to go and get it X-rayed. I don't know if that was from when I fell on the bus, um, because I never got it X-rayed, but I was able to walk, but I had some pain. But I do need to probably go get it x-rayed. And it is the left knee, but my left leg has been through, it's been through hell. That's where the fracture for the ankle happened. That's where all my blood clots have been. Yeah, that it does. I this is a prescription. He did a prescription, not an over the counter. So the prescription one, it's a 5% with 700 milligrams, and I think it's less than that for the over counter. I had never heard of lidocaine. I didn't know anything about it. And when I was telling him, I said, "Can we do something?" Because I was using just Tylenol and stuff, arthritis, but my it's bad. So I did that, and I was like, it changed my life because I'd just be in massive pain. I mean, barely able to stand up straight. That's how bad my back, my lower back is, and I think it might have to do with my lumbar. So I do need a new desk chair. The chair I have right now is like from like when you go to churches, like some of the non-denominational churches, it's I would call it a church chair. It's like the steel frame with the cushion bench and the cushion back. It's not like a work chair. So I do need to order one. I'm probably going to order one here because I'm going to be doing some changes to my desk. I did get up. I did apply for a different. I applied for two different positions. From the way it looks, they were offering me both, but one came first. So I took the first one, and then the second one came after them. "Oh, we haven't heard from you." I'm like, I ain't never heard from you. And so I said, "Well, thank you for the offer and whatever you're doing, but I accepted another offer because I hadn't heard from you." And it's within the same company. I'm still at the same company. So Monday, tomorrow, I start the new position. So right now I'm doing the refrigerator and trying to get some stuff in order. So like I said, I ain't gonna be on here too terribly long, probably about half an hour to an hour if that. But I needed to check in because I ain't been on here in forever. And I got people, I guess, who are watching the older videos. So to everybody watching the older videos, thank you. So appreciate it. I'm not in trucking anymore. Um, so if you catch up with the newer videos, I pretty much just talk about random things that come to my quirky brain. And I say quirky brain, some people might think I'm crazy, but I'm very analytical. So when I say quirky, I look at life very differently, which we're going to talk about that here in a minute. And I'm usually, when I say differently from people, how do I say this? They may not look at things logically. In my world of what I see is logic. Because I'm like, my dude, this don't what you're saying to me doesn't make any sense. Um, and for other people who may be more on my page, I'm coming more from a Christian perspective than where I was in my earlier videos, but I haven't deleted anything. Yeah, and that's why I leave them up. They're still there. I've had some recent compliments from some old school popular truckers back in my day. I was like, whoa, this person looked at the video. Um, but yeah, and that's fine. And then I got people going back to the female trucker who was killed. I've had that that was one of my biggest videos. So that video got a lot of hits. That and P Wimpy, P Wimpy Leadfoot, baby right there. God bless him. I pray that baby got his life right and old girl got her fangs out his neck because that girl, woo, that baby right there. God bless him. But yeah, so that and I've been getting a lot from those videos. But I always check in because again, I do this just because it's kind of an outlet. It's kind of fun. I've built some camaraderies like you, Wendy, and I met Nikki, who's here in Arizona, who's still in trucking, and then come to find out, me and Nikki, I worked with her cousin here in Arizona. I went to church with one of her uncles. Um, yeah, so I mean, I didn't. The world is so small sometimes that you build those rapport. You guys got to meet Danielle before she passed on, a female trucker, been around a while. Um, some other truckers that I have met over the road, um, like Chi-Town, I met him. I haven't talked to him in a while. You guys got to see Bill. And Bill's getting ready to retire here pretty soon. He bought himself like a bus, the RV type bus, and that's what he's retiring on. He sold his condo. His wife had passed, so he pretty much just doing what he felt he wanted to do. So he wants to be in an RV and travel around, and I can see that for Bill. And then probably just visit family because he's got a lot of grandkids. He's got kids by marriage and kids that he also had. Um, so Bill's originally from Oakland, but he got kids in Texas. I know Oakland. I don't know where else he got family at. But he's a Cali boy. So he'll do that. He got in contact with me recently. But yeah, along this journey. So if those videos help people, God bless you. I'm happy it helps you. Other than that, the channel's more now me just talking about stuff. And speaking, we're 10 minutes in, so I'm going to try to make this subject. Wendy, you can chime in here as you need to. And we all are falling in our own way, but we don't have to stay there. I'm going to say that. Recently, I've been talking to people, and everybody's watching a lot of people, let me say that, are watching whole political drama saga. I'm not a fan of either side. Granted, I dislike one side more than the other, but I'm also very much Christian, so I believe that all this is in God's control. So whoever comes out is who God chose to be the leader of America, and it has its purpose and its reason, whether it makes sense to us or not. Point blank, period. Okay. Every person who has been a president of the United States from the beginning to current all played a role in a grand design that's bigger than that person. And while they may not realize, they will be utilized by God to serve the purposes that he won't serve. Point blank, period. However, there is something going on in the background of human beings right now where I don't know if logic is making sense, because I'm sitting here just totally dumbfounded. The eating of the cats and dogs, that's a little much. And I'm not saying people don't. They're probably in countries where you got to do what you got to do, and that's what they do. I can't say they do or don't. I just know that that was very extreme, and that says something isn't right. But I always thought something wasn't right because I see that individual as a narcissist, and being that my biological father was a narcissist, and I understand how broken they are and how messed up they think. It was very easy for me to understand him, right? Math until mathing at current times. I'll figure that. I don't know what you're talking, but you might be. Okay, I think you mean it 2 and 2 equal 4, but it ain't meaning 4 in common sense. I hope that's what you meaning about what you're saying, but I kind of what I'm gathering. In recent times, y'all, and when you tell me if you've heard of it, and I know it's been all on the news. Hey, PJ, what's up? How you doing and how's the weather? And Wendy, how's your weather? Because y'all should start cooling off. We're gonna be cool. We're gonna be in the 80s, hopefully by next Friday. So I'm just starting the convo, PJ, just starting it. So in the recent election stuff and a specific political party, yeah, weather's still weird because Arizona, we should have been cool a couple weeks ago. And it started to cool and then it just got hot as hell again. So I have no idea. But a couple weeks ago, well, actually even longer than that, I had heard that the Republican Party, I'm just going to say who it was making statements. I'm good, PJ. I'm doing good. I'm still at the same company, but I start a new position tomorrow. I'm in training tomorrow for it. So I'm doing really good. God is really blessing. Oh, I'm so jealous. Girl, we ain't gonna see 61 degrees for about a month or more. We're supposed to be 86. That's the high. But I think not this weekend, not this Friday, but next Friday. And I think the low we might hit is in the 70s, high 70s, when I looked at it. So yeah, it's still warm, but it's okay. It'll be better. But I'm sitting here and I'm going to talk about something from trucking, actually, kind of. And my niece said this to me, but I watch other ministries, and they have said it because some Christian groups are Republican based because they believe it's a conservative view and they hold the Christian values that they believe. I'm not going to say that because I don't blend politics with religion. I just don't. I believe politicians are politicians. I believe both lie on both sides of the coin, even though one in our current time frame is worse than the other. But everybody lie. Okay, nobody tell me the truth. Everybody gonna feed you what they gonna feed you. And you just gotta pick which demon is the best if you're gonna vote. Okay. Otherwise, it doesn't matter really what you pick, because at the end of the day, God is going to choose. It's going to fall out the way God is going to have it fall out. Point blank, period. So, but what is getting me is more what impacts us personally and our thought process, how we, what's the word I want to say? In Christianity, we may say wrestle. Um, and that's Wendy, PJ, by the way, on there. Um, it may be more, y'all forgive me. And I haven't eaten. I still got to cook something too, because I haven't eaten all day. But I snacked on a little candy. I think it was some of them juju fruits. That was it. I ran it, and I came home, and then I started cleaning. So I'm getting ready to get in that kitchen. I've been making me some greens. I've been craving greens. I'm not really supposed to have greens because it interferes with one of my medicines, but every blue moon I have them, and we'll just have to bounce back because I'm craving some greens. So I got me some collards, and I'm cooking me some greens. Anyway, back to it. So recently, my niece was saying to me, and I heard it. She's not the first one to tell me. I'd already heard it coming out of more of that political side and some Christians that are mainly leaning towards this side. And they're like, oh, man, and blaming the other political group, is controlling the weather to create these extreme natural disasters. Now, what they're meaning in the grand scheme is that somebody is sitting in a room or in an office or in a location, and they're doing something to control extreme weather, and they're meaning it to cause political chaos and events, and part of the conspiracy theory thing, right? I'm gonna help you out with something. The weather, this planet spinning on the invisible axis, and all the natural things it does, God designed that, and that's God's business. Now, what do we have the capability of humans to do? So, can we impact the weather? Yes, but not in the sense of somebody sitting in a room, pushing buttons or doing something as they are trying to state. But we can look to greedy businesses who are still doing things that pollute the environment, still do, and even us as humans, when we don't handle things appropriately. This ain't new. I went to high school in 1982. In 1982 to 86, we talked about global warming. We talked about that all in 80, from 82 to 86. Then all of a sudden, after Clear Blue, I graduated high school. I hear nothing about global warming anymore. Now, all of a sudden, as we start seeing everything happen, we're now talking climate change, which is just global warming. And it means that there is going to be something that's going to happen because we're doing things that are impacting the atmosphere. Girl, Wendy, I can't. That's doing a lot. I can't right now, Wendy. That's the stuff I'm talking about. And I'm going to say something. If they are, what are you going to do about it? I mean, that right there is that, and that's causing all this to happen. It's different things that are being said that are, I'm like, come on, y'all. And don't get me wrong, I think man is wicked. I think man does some wicked things. But in the grand scheme of things, we have to realize there's something much bigger than us that's in control of everything. Yeah, I got nothing, because that to me is doing a lot. What I will tell you is when I was in trucking, and this is right before we're starting to see the level, and it wasn't, and I'm kind of sitting back now, and when I was talking to my niece about it, she's saying, because the way she meant it was that somebody was literally, because she is a supporter of the Republican Party, her and her mom, and I'm not, they got the right to. I may not agree with that. I don't agree. Like I said, I'm not a fan of either side. I got issues with both sides. Do I dislike one more than the other? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I see problems on both sides. Huge problems on both sides. So I'm not pushing an agenda for either. I won't ever do that. I believe you have the right to be guided by whatever you feel it is to vote. I'm usually registered as an independent. I'll be honest, I'm sitting it out. I'm because my goal, my view is this in I think it's Daniel. He's interpreting King Nebuchadnezzar's dream and the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. And and King Nebuchadnezzar is given this major dream by God, and he's looking for somebody to interpret it. And Daniel interprets it. So Daniel, obviously, a book of prophecy, and Daniel basically gives the interpretation that God gave him this dream. Here's the interpretation of the dream. He tells him the dream, gives an interpretation of the dream. And basically, at the end of the day, the dream meant that God raises up kings and he removes kings. In essence, I'm in control of whoever's going to be the leader of your countries and who's going to be in that type of leadership role. Now, that does not mean they're Christian. And that's one of the other, I'm going to say, ignorant things that is really being pushed, especially on the Trump side of the coin, is that this man is touched by God. You, either one of them, this dude is not supposed to be in there, bruh. Go back to that Bible. If Biden is in there right now, that's exactly who God meant to be in there, whether you like what he's doing or not. When Trump was in there, that's exactly who God meant to be in there, because otherwise he wouldn't be there. Everybody who sat in that seat, there's a reason and a season for which they're sitting there. And if they're not supposed to be in there, God will remove them. Point blank, period. It's just the way it works. In all countries, anybody in a leader role, they're there for a reason and a season. And if you're a Christian, you believe it for what it is. With that being said, I see people and they're trying to give man, which is also another problem we have, is that we believe we're in control of stuff. Ciao, bye. We believe that we got all this power. We believe we're more important than God. That's why people now can tell people my truth. This is my truth. As a matter of fact, my truth outdoes God's truth. It outdoes what's in the Bible. This is my truth. Deal with it. Point blank, period. And you got the right to. I'm a fan of you got the right to. Free will, you got the right to free will. I'm just going to tell you that may not be the biblical truth. You can live in that truth, and that can be a weird truth for you. Folks will live in their lie. They'll live in their dysfunction, and that is their reality. It's dysfunctional. It's sick. And it's twisted. That thing with combs right now. We saw one facade on the outside, and now the layers are being pulled out, and now you're seeing the truth of who that individual is. He presented one thing. We seeing the truth of who he is behind the scenes. And God bless him. I hope he repents of whatever he done did and gets it right. And I don't know what made him him. But I do know that people just don't usually up and just become that. They usually, something transpires for them to get to where they're at. And it's the same thing when you have people going into these roles. But is somebody sitting in a room pushing buttons? I absolutely do not believe so. I think we need to put, well, actually, I'm going to say this. I believe we need to put the accountability where it needs to be. And that's on the companies and the businesses and all these greedy folks that refuse to change. It's like, I don't agree with old girl talking about we're going to let fracking happen, but I know why she's doing it. It's a political move. Fracking is bad for the planet. But you're going to do what you're going to do. Because at the end of it all, God is in control. And everything that's happening is happening for a reason. We're headed to an end. There's just me and Nikki was talking. Nikki's kind of just coming into the face, and Nikki said, "I don't know how you can not see things are wrapping up." This baby just coming into starting to read a Bible and talk about Christianity. She's not been in this a long time. She was living a whole different life. And if this girl can come in at, I think she's just 40, and see what's going on in society right now and what's going on in the world right now and how people are acting and how everything is going from the storms. She's a truck driver. Right. Exactly the whole point, Wendy. She's a truck driver. She's just an average individual. And she's starting to come into a faith, because we've been talking, she's starting to believe. She said, I went and got my Bible out of storage, because she said, I don't know how you can't look at this. This wasn't anything I ushered in a conversation. This was her just spewing when we talked. The handwriting's on the wall if you choose to read it, but some people want to live in their dysfunction. It's more comfortable to live in the lie and the sin and the hope and trying to make things normal. Like when we came out of COVID, everybody wanted to try to make things normal again. Things aren't normal. Things weren't normal since 9/11. It really went down the hill. Then when Trump happened, things went really hell in the handbasket. And during Trump, COVID happened. And it went more down the hill in the handbasket. All of this, well, yes and no. So what is going to eventually happen is there's going to be, biblically, the next major move should be the rapture of the church. And that's where, and I know some people may think, oh, this is really mystical. I'm sorry, I believe in the Bible. I just do. We don't have a body for Jesus, but we have a history of Jesus. Okay? I'm just saying. We don't have a Bible. I mean, we don't have a body for Jesus, but we got a history of Jesus. So what happened to the body? You got to ask the questions. So that right there is a demonstration, and there's others, of a rapture or somebody taken off the planet in not the normal way that we know life happens, where you go through life, you die, and then you're in a casket or you cremated like that, okay? So for the church, the Bible says, and there's some parts of the church, or those who consider Christians, Roman Catholics, have Roman Catholic friends who tell me the Roman Catholics do not believe in the rapture. I don't know, because I got a lot of questions on the Roman Catholics, the whole thing. But I have a friend who's Byzantine Catholic. They believe in the rapture, okay? And most Christian groups that I'm aware of, your Protestant, the evangelical type Christians, we believe in the rapture. There's discrepancies on when it's going to happen. Is it going to happen at the beginning, before all hell breaks loose on this planet? Is it going to happen in the middle, while hell is breaking loose on the channel? Or is it going to happen at the end? Now, I do not believe the end, because it don't make any sense at the end. Could it be post or pre, or mid? Possibly. My thing I tell all the people I talk to and minister to, just be ready. Don't matter whether you hit the casket or whether we're walking around this house and all of a sudden left behind, we taken out of here. Just be ready. Either way it goes, you need to be ready. Make sure your soul is ready, that if you die tomorrow, you're ready, you're going in the right direction. If you're sitting around cleaning your house, whatever, and you're raptured, you're going in the right direction because you got raptured. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here looking stupid. God forgive me for those who get left behind. I'm not mean. I'm really real. So as I'm talking, my niece, who is Christian, her and her mom are Christian. They are, like I said, they're Republicans, and I know they're pro-Trumpers. She's believing, and she's young, so she's also believing some of the rhetoric that you see on the internet. And I'm like, baby, please don't believe everything you see. And the Bible says, test the spirit. So you got to, you take the Bible and you test it. If it don't believe. But we have so many people, and I like the way Jackie Hill Perry said, we have people who are biblically illiterate. I think it was her who said that. And that is true. So we have so many people who, they have a surface understanding of the Bible. They're not being taught in their churches. The pastors are too busy talking about either race or politics, which I can't stand. So they're not being taught biblical fundamental foundations. And if the pastor has a view, he's trying to force that on to his other people, and so more focused on conspiracy theories and politics than he is about teaching about Jesus. You need to teach Jesus, because your folks don't know how to think and how to wrestle in understanding the word and getting an understanding. So back to what happened. When I was going to trucking school, I was staying with, actually, I think I was staying with them. I stayed for them, and then I rented room for a part of the time, my play niece and her mom. And I would, out of sight, out of mind, since I, didn't want to be there a lot, because I was only going to be there temporarily till I started my trucking career. I'm in trucking school. Well, I went to a trucking school, so we had a big, not somewhere around here, I got a big old manual about this thick, right? And I think my trucking school was about 6 months long, right? So we were in classroom for 3 or 4 months, and then you rotated out, and then you were on the tarmac, and then out on the road learning how to drive. And then you did what they call the externship, where you went to go hire on with a company, and you did their training. And then at the end of coming through their training, you got your little diploma. So While I would go study, because that's my mind, I'm quirky, I'm going to study. I would go to the coffee shop that's not too far from my house. Well, it depends on the trucking school. It depends. Different trucking schools are different. They had shorter programs. You just chose the program at the one I went to. So you could choose different programs, and it depends on the number of weeks. Like I had one friend, he did like a month and a half, and he had to do longer because it was too fast. I would go down to the coffee shop down here after I got out of trucking school, and I would study through my book. Well, the coffee shop, I'm not far from the coffee shop I used to go to. That coffee shop is they where I'm at now is close to the university. So Tempe is where ASU used to be, but then what they did, Phoenix was very smart. They reached out. I don't know if they reached out or the schools reached out to them, but they came up with an agreement to where NAU, U of A, and ASU have campuses now in the central Phoenix area, close to where I live. So a lot of the ASU educators would be over here at this coffee shop I went to having coffee. So they see me every day. Because every day I had school 5 days a week. After I got done with school, I'd drive over here and go to the coffee shop. And I would sit there and I was, my money wasn't long because I was on unemployment at the time. And I would sit there and I would get something mild to eat and just have maybe tea because you get refills on tea. And I drink tea. Well, one day, one of the ladies, she said to me, hi, because she thought I was a student. ASU probably are one of the college students. And she said, hey, what are you studying? And I said, oh, I'm not going to ASU, U of A, or NAU. I said, I'm going to a trucking school on the west side. And she goes, oh, she says, would you be interested in coming to what was it called? Oh, what do you call them? I don't want to say a summit, but kind of like a little convention, but it's not a convention. There's another word for it. But basically to go to, you're going in with a group of people, you're going to talk about an issue. And I was like, okay. And she says, we're going to pay you. And I can't remember how much they paid me, but it was some good money. So we'll pay you for the day. We'll feed you. So they served us lunch. And blah, blah, blah. And she said, this is going to be talking about the climate. Seminar. Thank you, Wendy. Seminar. That's the word. See, that's the brain fog I'm talking about. My brain is getting old. So you're going to go to this seminar, right? So when I got there, this place was packed, and it was not down here in downtown Phoenix. It took us back to ASU in Tempe, and I think it was in Gamage. And Gamage is like an auditorium at ASU. Concert and everything, I think it was there. It was somewhere in the building there. It was near Gamage or in Gamage, I can't remember. But I remember the event. So, and they paid us cash. They paid us for this thing, and we had lunch. You sat at a table with various groups of people from various walks of life, and we discussed the climate. They showed us videos. They had people speak there. Mayor Mitchell was there. Well, former Mayor Mitchell. So Mayor Mitchell and Marion Mitchell were educators at the high school I went to. Matter of fact, Marion Mitchell was the one who chose me for the COE program. So was the mayor's wife at the time. So she's the one that chose me for the business program. I got in. She chose all of the people that were in that program. And I just realized it was all female. She didn't choose any guys. There were only women back then. Which I found interesting. I don't think you can do that today, but back then it was all girls. But he was there. And then PBS, our local PBS station was there. I can't remember who I was there. So we did this thing and they showed us this video. And this thing was a couple hours. And then we did a discussion at the table. Now, there was one guy at the table I knew right off, he's Republican. Right off, I could tell what he was. There were other people I could tell were Democrats and others who were most likely independent. But we had a great conversation and we ranged in all age ranges. So I'm going to say the guy was probably in his mid-20s, late or early 30s. At that time, I was in my 40s. And we all conversated. So the little Republican dude, obviously, it's not, because that's their theme. Because by saying this, what the actions of businesses and what they do where they don't want to pay the money to do it cleaner, that would not impact the environment. They don't want to spend that money. They want the greed to go in their pocket. And they could give a doggone if this planet went to hell in a handbasket. Point blank, period. That's their thing. Free will. Do you, boo-boo. Other people at the table, we definitely agreed. There was an older lady there. I'm gonna say she probably is in her mid to late 60s. White lady, and I think I was the only chocolate chip at my table. Everybody else was probably Anglo. I can't remember if there was any Latinos there, but I think I was the only person of color at my table. And I can't tell you for the whole room because it was a lot of people, round tables. And we were asked questions, we were asked to fill out things, and they showed us stuff. And they showed us video. They showed us things going on, I think in Antarctica or wherever it's cold, where they are the glaciers. They basically told us in that meeting that if things did not immediately change, we were going to see areas on the planet that would be uninhabitable, where the weather, the normal type of weather it would give was going to shift, and there were going to be areas that would ultimately become uninhabitable based on the weather, um, and the shift that was about to happen, and also the level of natural disasters that we were going to see. That was when I was in trucking school, and that would have been 2009. Okay. I don't know how many years later, if it's a year or 2 years later, everything those people showed me in that meeting is manifesting. It's happening. Um, and again, from what I learned growing up as a kid in 1982 to 86 about global warming and what it can cause, we're here. Now, in the grand scheme of things, as a Christian, God can either command or allow. And everything that is happening right now is ushering us to an end. There's a scripture, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it doesn't say it quite like this, but it's close enough. Basically, the world, the earth, the planet, moans and groans for the return of God. So basically, it needs God to come back and set it right. And my premise, it doesn't really say this. Yo, people, these humans you put down here to mess me up. I need you to come fix me. And so what we're seeing right now is a direct reflection, in my opinion, of just how foul we are as humans, that we don't even appreciate the planet God gave us. That greed and money is more important than doing the things that would leave a planet that would be in good shape. But that's not going to change. So those behaviors aren't going anywhere. And that's why when I see people on political sides pushing certain agendas, and next, both are foul. Both are foul, because if one who supposedly is, oh, I'm going to try to help clean up the environment, then you're going to tell them that fracking needs to stop. You're going to tell them all these other things, but that's not what they want to hear, and that's not going to get you in office. So as I say, people tell you what you want to hear. Point blank, period. Do I think one is better than the other? Yeah. By the overall look of it, but God knows the heart, and the reality is neither one of them people do I think are saved. Again, I don't know either one from a can of paint. I know the outcome of the last one that was up in there, who's trying to run again and get back in. I know that. I know that, and I saw that. I don't want to see no pink people on the White House, on the Capitol. I'm good. That's what I said. For me, what happened back when that individual was in office, I'm good. I don't need to see that again. But that might not be anything in my control. Again, everything happens for a reason. Are we getting to a point where America's due for another civil war? Could be. I pray not. We have gone so just cray-cray lately. The behaviors of people are strange. Just a lot of weirdness. And there's a lot of anxiety right now. With all the wars around the world right now, everybody's on pins and needles. And this election isn't helping, because you have an individual whose followers are so weird and extreme. I'm just going to say that, weird and extreme, that you don't know, because we saw what happened when he was in office before. So could this happen and could it be worse? I believe that is some of the things that are on the table. But the reason I wanted to do this is because I really want people to come into some logic. I know you're hearing somebody is sitting somewhere controlling the weather. The weather, I'm not a scientist, but I mean, to me, it's just common sense. 1982 to 1986, we're talking about the things that impacted our planet. Pollution was huge. Um, how we handled different materials that we had in our home, huge. How we recycled, huge. Many things that were impacting the planet. We got people in other states where the only jobs they can get, quote unquote, are warehouse labor based jobs. And unfortunately, they don't have college degrees or whatever. So, any other job. So, they want the jobs to stay the jobs they have. We're in a time where technology is on a whole nother level. Even the job I do right now, eventually is probably going to be done by AI. Okay? Where somebody can call and talk about their insurance to somebody, to an AI. We have an AI working in our system right now, doing certain things. I do claims, doing certain things on the claims for the area I'm in right now. Is it doing everything? No. I believe you will need a human element for a while. But as it learns and the processes are programmed into the system, my job may become totally irrelevant, which means then I got to upskill to something else. If I'm still working at that point, or, if the rapture ain't happened, praying the rapture happens. But or retired. I don't know that I'm gonna get to retirement. Like I said, there's too much weirdness going on. What we are seeing right now is, and my heart goes out that you only know this skill, but the reality is, it's just like truck driving. Right now, truck driving is a field, but you have autonomous trucks now. And once they get to learn the road even better, truck drivers, they might be needed for the city stuff temporarily, but eventually they're gonna get that thing to where it's gonna be. We never thought we would be looking at a George Jetson moment. We always thought that was a cartoon. I don't know if you have them in your city. We got something called Waymo. I want to do it. Me and Joe want to ride in it. I remember right here, there's a grocery store across the street. And when they were testing them, they had human people in the front seat with that car. And they would meet over here at the grocery store, and there'd be tons of these Jaguar with the Waymo on them, right? With the big thing on top and all the sensors. Well, I don't know if it was even a year. And the next thing I know, I see Waymo picking folks up with no human in the front. It learned the valley, it learned its routes. Waymo, I see it all. I got a little couple over here. They go out, I think, and when they go out, they don't drive their car. So they take Waymo. So if they're going to drink or whatever, they do it safely. And they Waymo it. There's no human. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to become automated. So you have to up your game. The bus can become automated. I mean, it goes a route. There's things that can happen and that will eventually happen to where humans aren't going to be needed based on where technology is going. So right now, again, folks telling you what you want to hear. That's why those dock workers were like, we want, people don't listen. This is where my logic comes in. We want y'all to stop the automation. Why do they want them to stop the automation? Because that's their jobs. And they know that if the automation continues, they ain't going to need them. Therefore, don't matter what union you have, we don't have to unionize with nobody because we don't need you. Mr. Robot Automated System will do everything for us, and we can put more money in our pocket at the top. Therefore, and I get that people want to keep their positions, but you're going to have to change your skill set. Point blank, period. And maybe for the older generation like me, we might got a little time to the end. But if you guys are 40 and under, y'all going to run into some stuff if this world is still going. And I'm like, and for these people that are doing steel work and coal work, those fields aren't, and I'm not going to say it's necessary, they're not as utilized here in America anymore. It's unfortunate. Some of it went overseas, but also other materials are being used, and a lot of stuff is now automated, whether in this country or somewhere else. So unfortunately, those jobs are going, which means I know what you want, and I know what you're comfortable with, and I know what you know, but you're going to have to upskill to something else. Maybe you need to start programming for the crazy AI system. I don't believe in AI, but it is. I mean, not believe in it. I believe it is. I don't. I don't like what it represents and what I think it's ultimately going to represent. But it's all part of the process. It's all part of this wrap up of time. It also, as I watch this, tells me this is also where people are going to end up being very dependent upon their government and the financing of their life, their food, their livelihood, their place to stay, based upon what is most likely going to come in the near future. And this is where, from the Christian perspective, we know that a person called the Antichrist is going to come on the scene. He's going to come on the scene with economical solutions. He's going to come on the scene to assist with solutions to stop wars and disputes between people. He's going to tell you peace. He gonna come with the roses and everything you want to hear. And right now, based on what I see in how man is, folks gonna be gullible as hell because there's no questioning. There's either extreme one way or extreme another, and there's no logic down the middle. And so people are saying, oh, well, I saw they were doing this to cause, like Wendy said, somebody said somebody was up on a mountain with some dry ice and they called it. And I laughed at you, Wendy, but people are coming up with the most. They're coming up with stuff that you be sitting there like, and at first when my niece said, I'm like, girl, bye. Because I knew that what she was meaning was that there was somebody doing events or things to cause this weather. And at first I said no, and then I said, well, wait a minute, back that up. It is so. But it's not so in the way that this is some grand design scheme. This is the same greedy behavior of greedy corporations to I'm going to produce and do what I can because I want to put money in my pocket. And I don't want to fix it because I could give a dang about the environment. I want my money now. And I'm not going to spend out money to go do all this. Hell, I'll be dead. For some of them, I'll be dead by the time all that happens. And I don't care. I'm living for right now. Because we really have a right now mentality. It's sad. It's deplorable. It's sick. But that's what we have right now. And then when I talk to people like when me and Nikki were talking, she's not looking at her life like, hey, boom, boom, boom. I don't know if she's going to get retirement, but she has to look at the future. She might. Like I said, I believe the rapture is going to happen before then. I could be wrong. I could be in a casket and then not be raptured until I'm raptured out of the casket. But there are so many people that are sensing something. There's a heavy anxiety that a lot of people have right now, one with this election, because after seeing the whole thing when old boy was in office before, people are like, hell, I don't know if this is going to happen again. It's too much. And I'm not sure this is going to happen again. So people are scared. They're frightened. And everything's in turmoil to them. What I'm going to say, and the best way I can put it, put your hand in Jesus' hands. That's all I can tell you. And I know that is because you're hearing so much stuff. And pick up a Bible and start getting it from yourself. And then you're going to have to pray because you do need some people to help you with what they call discipleship or understanding Christianity. But the problem is you really got to be discerning and you really got to pray that God brings you the right people. Because right now there are some people teaching some stuff. I'm just like this. And the ones who are politically tied or teaching all of the politics stuff, I need you to get back and teach Jesus. And there'll be some that'll be right teaching really good Christian information. And then they go into la la land about politics. I'm like, oh, y'all, can you just stick on the path with Jesus? Definitely teach the end times. But bringing all the conspiracy theory and this person, stop. Just teach the basic fundamental foundations of the scripture. And if you do that, people will be able to discern what's going on. But also, you should be sitting in the middle going, okay, God, this is on you. Both sides are foul, both sides are demonic. But you trying to say, oh, it's Christian over here, and you trying to force agendas. Jesus didn't rape you. God doesn't rape you. If these people want to free will kill and do all the demonic stuff they doing on that end, that's their free will right. The word of God tells us the wheat and the tares are going to grow up together. That means people who are believers and people who aren't. People are going to walk in the things of God and people who aren't. And if people don't want to, God does not force himself on people. They got every right not to believe. That's their God-given choice. We shouldn't be forcing it through political parties. Now, you can vote your conscience. Just don't try to say you're voting that because you think that all the world needs to be you. Instead, okay, this is how I vote, and this is why. Okay, fine, vote that way. You really don't owe anybody an explanation. So many people are doing, there's just weirdness. And what's being accepted in the masses is insanity. And like I said, I have Christian ministries that I'm watching. One guy, he started talking about, well, I believe that somebody's controlling the weather. Absolutely. They call corporations and us who are doing things that are having an impact on the environment. How we waste, how we, treat the amount of stuff we waste, how we do things in the environment, things we use, all of that plays a factor. And especially these large corporations that got plumes of smoke. I drove a truck. I can tell you right now on the food side, I'm just going to tell you, I went to some plants. They got water. I was like, oh, I wouldn't drink that water. And you could smell, it was so pungent, the odors from, no, no, you don't want any of that water around that plant. I don't know that you want the dirt around that plant. The house I inherited from my grandfather years ago. I remember I was a little girl and I was in the paper here in Arizona. He had grown a squash, and the squash was as tall as me. And I was under the age of 7, I think. And I'm in the paper with the squash he grew. Well, once I inherited the property that squash grew off of, what I found out was that dirt was there was part of recycle and everything else. It was like a dumping ground, and there was a whole bunch of just crap that dirt covered up and probably decomposed under there. So ain't no telling what was going on in that soil. I didn't know that till years later when I went to sell the property. And the guy says, oh, you got to do this release because I had to sign off this thing that I forgot, some kind of disclosure to disclose the land that this house was on. And of course, black families, they bought what they could based on budget. So of course, you're not in the best area. You're not on the best dirt. And my grandfather probably didn't even know back then. But once it came to me getting the home after he passed, this I have to sign off to let the next person know. And now it's mainly an industrial area. There's very little homes over there anymore. It's all pretty much commercial real estate now. And, warehouses, mechanical stuff. So it's just more of them polluting the soil. So it's not a big deal anymore. And I'm not saying big deal in that sense. But the issue of what the dirt was used for was exactly what it ended up being used after I sold it. Ultimately, we're polluting it and we're causing it. Global warming is happening. What gets me is just the arrogance of man to think that some man can control the weather in such a planned way, where it's an indirect planned way and not meaning that they even think about it. This is the indirect of middle finger. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm not worried about the planet. I'm not worried about the outcome of what my corporation does or my business, or being conscious of um, the choices that we do in this business, corporation, whatever. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. All to have money in the pocket and not take the financial corrections to change it. And that was one of the big things that I took out of that seminar. And it wasn't anything new to me. This was the same thing we were taught and I saw in my youth. And it's funny because everybody made fun of Al Gore when he came out. I forgot the name of the movie, the documentary, and he was talking about the global warming and what was happening to the planet. And people were like, la, 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 and they making fun of him, especially a certain political party. And now everything he talked about is manifesting itself. So is Al sitting in a room pushing buttons? I know. Exactly what. But again, it goes to me, it goes back to the scripture. Basically, Lord, come get me and renew me from these crazy folks that you got. Because everything happened in the fall. Even the planet is not what we see now. This is second class of what the garden actually looked like. How we are as humans is second class because we would have been living eternally had the choice that Adam and Eve made not happen. Everything is coming to a culmination and you can't not see it. You'd have to be blind not to see what's happening. And we're in a time right now where some people are sitting and you're not understanding. I sat with another friend of mine and he wanted to look at the political party, Trump's party. Oh, is this all a cult? It's all a cult. There's some people who are deceived and there's some people who like living in the delusion. For whatever reason, I believe some people align with him because it makes them feel fringe, feel different, feel not part, more unique. That's a better word. Some people like to be unique. So even if they know that the person's crazy, even if they know the thought process is crazy, even if they know it's a lie, it makes them in their mind look interesting. It makes them have attention because people attention. It's like the child in the classroom. You have all the children in the classroom. Oh, Sally doing good. Bobby doing good. But Johnny over there ain't getting no attention. So Johnny either becomes a class clown or Johnny becomes a butthole. Okay? Because any attention for some people is good attention, even if it's not good attention. I'm going to get attention because you're giving everybody else good attention because they know how to act. I don't have anything unique about me. So I'm going to be unique in some way, whether that uniqueness is lying, aligning with lying, or aligning with weirdness. And being fringe, being different. That's what people do. It's what people do. And that's okay. Do you. All right, we're almost at an hour. Let me go back and see. So I'm going to wrap it up. But anyway, that's kind of what I had today. I don't know if I'll get on. I'm trying to get on here maybe next weekend. I know I kind of took a little bit of a pause. I've been very tired. And I had a lot going on. So like I said, my back was bothering me. I went to the doctor. I got those patches. Praise Jesus. But yeah, things are going. I'm work from home. Praise Jesus for all of the training. And guys, I got something I really like. And I've had them before, but I ordered one through Walmart. It's essential oil, what do you call it, diffuser? And there's a candle I like, which was clove and orange and I think cinnamon that they used to make. And I used to get it built more, but the place closed. And so Joe had given me a one of those diffusers. And it's like a little frog. It's so cute. It's a little green frog with his little like happy frogs with frog ears. And his frog ears are where the steam comes out of. And he'd given me some drops through a company that he's all into the natural stuff. And so he gave me, and so I have orange and I think it's orange and clove. Now, the one I got from Walmart, it came with some supposedly essential oils, but they're not really strong. But I put the ones in there that he gave me. Oh my God, this whole living room, all the way back to my bedroom, smells. I think I'm gonna get a couple more. I almost want to get them for each room. I love the scent. This one sits by my desk, and I love the scent. So I've got to get a new desk. I need to get a different chair. The chair is probably gonna be the first thing because I think that's one playing with my back huge. And then yeah, so we'll see. But everything else is going good. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. As I usually say, if a bunch of people disappeared, it wasn't aliens. It was a rapture. Y'all need to get a Bible If y'all find out where I live and there's food, y'all help yourself to whatever's in here because y'all gonna need a lot during that time. I hope you get it right and hope you're not stuck here. But if you are, thank you, Wendy. If you are, God have mercy on you. Anyway, y'all 2 and 2. Wendy, peace. And PJ, peace. Anybody who catches it later, have a good evening. 2 and 2.